In this section, we're going to look at personal leadership, because if you want to be effective in a crisis, the first person you need to lead is yourself. Hopefully, you're in leadership because you have something to offer and you positively influence other people. Hopefully, your leadership is more than just a position you've been given. You have ability, you have skills, you have wisdom, you have the persona. You can be a great leader. But have you ever had that moment where perhaps you are feeling particularly anxious or negative? Maybe you just got some bad news, or you just found out that there was a big problem at work that would have far-reaching circumstances. You began to feel anxiety in the pit of your stomach. You began to worry about what could happen. Then at that moment you needed to make some important decisions. And those decisions could have significant impact. But suddenly you're faced with indecision. Or maybe worse, you made an impulsive decision which turned out to be a rash one. If this has ever happened to you, you're not alone. All of us at some time or other have made the wrong choices when feeling anxious, angry, or negative in some way. We have long known that these emotions make it harder to make good decisions. But in recent years, a number of studies have begun to show us what is actually happening. In 2016, a team from the University of Pittsburgh studied the effect of anxiety on our thinking. Their study showed that incoming sensory signals caused the amygdala, which is part of the limbic system of the brain, to alert the rest of the brain that a threat was present, which then triggered a fear or anxiety response. During those times of anxiety, the neurons in the prefrontal cortex were disrupted. So what? What difference does that make to me, I hear you ask? Well, this is important because the prefrontal cortex is the executive part of your brain. It's responsible for flexible decision making, attention, and higher order thinking. Its functions include planning, problem solving, self-control, choosing to act with long-term goals in mind, and the control of short-sighted, reflexive, and potentially damaging behaviour. These are all essential leadership abilities. So a crisis hits your organisation. The organisation is in trouble. You start to feel anxious about it. This is the moment when you need to step up and be the leader you know you can be. You need to be making sound plans. You need to be thinking, how do we solve the problems that have arisen? You need to be making wise decisions for the future and not just out of panicky reaction to the pressure. And you need to be doing all this whilst remaining focused amidst lots of distractions and a deluge of information. You need to be making quick but smart decisions. But the problem is, all the essential leadership skills I just listed are being disrupted because of the effect of the negative emotions your brain is experiencing. Your ability for smart thinking has been knocked out. Essentially, the stress and anxiety caused by the crisis is preventing you from making smart choices when you need to the most. So it may seem counterintuitive to spend time leading yourself when a crisis often screams urgent. But you cannot afford for your negative emotions to run unchallenged. You urgently need to de-escalate your anxiety and re-engage the executive part of your brain so that you can start leading with smart thinking. We begin doing that by facing the crisis head on.